All right, Tomboy Official, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy November. Happy November 1st of 2023. Guys, 2 more months left in this year. I know some places it's kind of chilly, it's cooling down. Um, Over here, I don't know why it's so hot in the afternoons lately, but whatever. I think we need to, I wish that we could like reserve sun. Um, I'm kind of strangely worried. I think it's kind of funny, but it's kind of true. I think I have a little bit of trauma from the past winter. Um, because I just noticed myself feeling like, kind of like that feeling like, when I don't know, this isn't probably very relatable, but when you have like a lengthy break and you're like, you spend it like maybe not like kind of like back in the day with like summer vacation. I don't know how your summer vacations used to go in your youth, or maybe you're still in your days when you still get summer vacations, but you know, I used to always be like, in lazy mode. Like, I don't want to do anything. Like, my parents used to have us doing all kinds of stuff, like piano practice. We would always play outside with our friends, so we didn't really have to do like exercise necessarily because we were pretty active kids. So our parents never like forced us to exercise. We just would exercise and play sports and stuff by ourselves. Um, but there was other stuff, like piano lessons, cleaning, like chores. Um, we had to do some amount of like reading and like math and stuff. I think we used to have like hooked on phonics or something like that. This is like so old. It was so boring. Um, and some other kind of like things that we had to like do. Like we'd have to do like some kind of like activities. Like we couldn't just like play all day. Um, but it wasn't like too strict, but we had to kind of like do some form of learning. Um, so, when I was in, my younger days, you know, when I had summer vacations, I used to kind of go and be pretty, you know, try to be as inactive on the educational side as possible. Like I would learn stuff that I liked, but if it was just like, mathematics for mathematics sake kind of thing, just to kind of like get my folks to be like, okay, you did a lesson or something, so you can go. Or like we do typing and things like that. Like it wasn't like a lot though. It wasn't intensive. It wasn't like 8 hours a day or something. Like it was like a little bit. Like we'd have to do that stuff before we could start going and playing with our friends. Um, and then like it would get more laxed throughout the summer. Like my parents would just kind of like forget and like stop caring. Um, but it was kind of like that. Like that's kind of how I felt this year. It's like we haven't gotten that long of the year without bad weather. We got like from like when was it when the weather improved? Like May or something, maybe June. I feel like it was maybe like May, maybe April, but I feel like it was maybe in May. The weather started to improve, and now we're in November. It's cold in the mornings, but I feel like it's kind of like, okay, I need to get in, all of my activities before the good part of the year is over. That's kind of how I used to feel on summer vacation. Like I need to play more. I need to be more like active. Like towards the end of the summer, we would just kind of go like crazy and be like at the park all the time and like playing as much as possible till like, summer the days are long and we would be out to the street lights like past 8 p.m. and like or whatever time near 8 p.m., like we'd be out and like just taking every morsel of time that we could take to like use our energy and play sports and like play games outside and like run around and have fun because we're like it's gonna end, the fun's gonna end. That's kind of how I feel about winter now. It's like the fun is gonna end, like the potential to like be out in the sun and like go to the beach and like just go outside. Like, I don't know, when I'm in LA, I'm not that outdoorsy because it's just city everywhere and it's so annoying. But um, the beach is right there, and even if it's cold, I don't really care. I'll still go. And just things like that where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I can kind of feel it. Like now that it's November, I'm like, there's so much stuff that I'm wondering if I can kind of do before the weather starts sucking, before the rain starts kicking in, before I start having to wear sweaters all the time. But we've still got slightly warm enough weather in the daytime. Like it's the past couple days has gotten like to the 80s by like 2 p.m. Today's gonna be another one of those days, but it's freaking cold right now. Like man, like in the mornings I'm like freezing. I didn't even notice I had my heater from yesterday still set at like 68 degrees, and this morning it was kind of like a little blip, like turning on, turning off, turning on, turning off, and I was like, is that the heater I hear? Like I wasn't 100% sure because it wasn't like that warm. Like it felt like it was getting kind of warm-ish, but I didn't feel like it was really all that warm. So I turned it up to like 69. Um for me 70, once it's 70 it is kind of warm. When the heater's on, it's kind of warm. Um but I woke up around 5:15, 5:30ish with some kind of, you know, needing some relief for my stomach. I feel okay now. Last night, though, I tried to record an episode, so I'm gonna finish that after this one. It was the finance portion that I didn't post yesterday. Um, right when I started recording it, my mom like popped out and decided to like go to the living room and like watch a movie or something. So I was like, dang, like she's still up. So I just didn't finish recording it. Um, and that was probably around like 12:30 or so. It was after midnight. I was up pretty late, and I woke up at like 5:30 or something, 5:15 or something. But I don't care. I'm only busy till noon today, and then I'm gonna call it a day. Like I don't really want to overwhelm myself too much. Yesterday I got in a good workout. It was a little over 30 minutes of um yoga and a little under 30 minutes of um like upper body and core exercise. It was hot while I was doing it. It was like 4 p.m. or something. Like it wasn't an ideal time of day considering the heat, but I kept it slow. I was like, let me just keep it slow, and so it wasn't like a super like explosive workout, but I did have C4. I had like a whole scoop of C4 yesterday. So that's probably part of why I didn't go to sleep early, but I also was just kind of like a little wired. Um, I took one gummy for melatonin, 5 milligrams, and yeah, my Halloween was pretty relaxing. Um, I watched mostly like videos about people who were in cults. They were kind of being interviewed. There's this podcast called Cults to Consciousness. I like it, but it's like I've noticed some of the newer episodes are getting a little intense. I don't really like. There's a lot of topics that I find pretty triggering, so I don't really like to just sit and listen to like everybody's horrific life. I kind of like the cultural aspect, like hearing like, oh, what were they allowed or not allowed to wear or eat, or were they homeschooled, or like what was it like growing up for them, and like how many parents did they have, or were they raised in a polygamous environment, or like what did they have to do for church, what kind of rituals and all this kind of stuff. I kind of like that kind of stuff, but I don't really like all the like gory details of some stuff. So I kind of try not to focus on that, because it's not, I don't find it beneficial. Like, but there is a part of me that's kind of like once it starts happening, I'm like, ooh, like, but I kind of want to know, like, I kind of want to know the story, like, even if I'm like, it's not a good idea to listen to this story, but so I have to like kind of stop myself and like skip around. Like, I like the content, but it's kind of like, I'd rather, I kind of wish it was like not as intense, because a lot of the newer episodes are pretty intense. But I think it's helpful for people to hear that kind of stuff, because I think a lot of times when people are in like these, I guess they call them high demand religions and things, they don't really notice the toxic aspects or the problems with it. I think a lot of times, like, there's this guy who mentioned something that I kind of gravitated towards, because it's like there is something with people who are raised in these ultra religious environments where sometimes, there's a part of your mind that's like, this isn't right. Like, there's something wrong with this. And then, the religion kind of teaches you, oh, that's like the bad side, that's like the evil side, of spirituality. There's some kind of evil being or evil entity that's like getting in your mind, and like that's why you think that it's bad, because it's trying to like pull you away or whatever. And it's like, you know you kind of do learn not to trust your own instincts, and like, I'd say I've kind of experienced something like that. Not that extreme. Like, I feel like what I was involved in was like right on the verge of, like, right on the edge of like cult-ish. Um like, it wasn't that major, and I think mostly because we live in LA. It's like you can't be that isolated. I wasn't that isolated. I had other friends that weren't from the religion, and they were really good friends, and they were really nice people. And so I respected their opinions, and they kind of had some kind of weird comments about the religion every so often. Like, I would invite people to church and stuff, because it was just part of what I did. Is like, if you wanted to see me on Saturdays, you'd probably have to go to church, otherwise you're never going to see me. And it was really a big part of my like social life. But um I don't know. I don't feel like it was so overboard that it was like I need to like expose these people, like there were people that definitely had their issues with anger and with lying and with judgment and gossip, and you know just just regular human issues. And if you get in a setting where you have like tons and tons of people, that that happens. There's going to be people that, I feel like most of the people were good, nice, never really had any issues with them. Then there were other people that there were kind of some abusive people that, looking back, I'm like, ooh, that wasn't good. Like, the few teachers at the religious school that were kind of dating some of the students that were minors, that wasn't normal. um the fact that, all the kids knew about it, and some reason these teachers were still there. um I don't think the school was like oblivious. Like, maybe they were, I don't know. um We had certain teachers that, one of our teachers would call himself the troll when he would get just like in a bad mood about something, and he'd kind of spaz out and like have a fit, and either make us do like a pretty intensive assignment, or he'd usually take it out on us in PE class, when he'd make us run, like, instead of the normal like 6 laps or so. I think we did 6 laps, was 1 mile, around the back of the campus. And then I think instead of 6 laps, or it was 4 laps around the full campus, but I think instead of 6 laps, he did 7. Um, no, he would make us do like 9 laps or something, or he'd be like, "You can't stop running, like you have to keep running, or jogging or something, or even like power walking, like you couldn't just like walk." Things like that. Or he'd make us do like a whole lot of calisthenics, or like, like as a group. This was like grades like 7 through 10 or something. He would make all of us do it, when he'd be mad about something. Um, and he'd yell and scream about stuff too. He wasn't always like that, but every now and then he'd get like that, and people would say that he was like, you know, like I didn't, and I had a couple parents friends of my parents that were parents to my friends, and they kind of had issues, too. And so, I was definitely raised around a lot of people that had, well, most people were decent and good, and then there were like a few that were like, yikes, like these guys, and some of them were in like leadership positions and stuff too, or like I said, like a lot of them worked at the school, and so it was just weird. It was a weird time. I didn't really think much of it, but like in your head, you kind of know like this isn't okay for this guy to be like taking out his anger on people, or for these couple teachers to be like dating these students and stuff. Like, there's stuff like that that you're just like, I don't even understand like how this is like a thing. But and for no one to really actively step in and like make like an announcement like, hey, this is okay, and we're taking measures to like deal with it. Like, you know, there was none of that. But it wasn't like every single aspect of every single thing every single day was like a mess. It was just those kind of things. Like, you knew the people to kind of just like stay away from, the people who like to argue with other people, the people who just couldn't really get it together. You just kind of stay away from them. Um, but like, yeah, like I don't know. I don't really know what I think about it. They could have been more protective, of people's mental health, I think. Um, they cared a lot about what you eat for your health, getting exercise for your health, but back then there weren't really a lot of conversations around mental health. People weren't really focused on your mental health. They were focused on, were your grades good? Were you participating in church? That was kind of more what would get you a standing. Anything else, or were you like good at sports, that kind of thing? Did you have like a decent attitude about stuff? But yeah, like when I'm watching those kind of cult videos, it kind of brings that kind of stuff up, a little bit. Like, but it's not something that, I'd say that I just felt like it wasn't a very safe environment, just because you couldn't really share authentically with people, because there was so much gossip. Like, for me, that was the biggest issue. It wasn't all the other stuff so much. It was just that, like, for me, I knew I couldn't like trust people, and just being raised around environments like that where you're like, just having like superficial conversations all the time with people. Like it was very like empty. Like I was like, this is just such an empty, like social life. And when I found other people that were outside of that religion, I was like, oh, these people are actually trustworthy. Oh, these people actually aren't like gossip mills. Oh, these people are actually like, you can talk to them about things and they'll actually like be able to like hold a conversation about stuff. Um, so yeah, it was a different way of looking at things, but um, yeah, it's mostly what I did for Halloween. Um, and recorded some episodes about some of my own scary stories. I didn't post them on here though. Um, but yeah, that's mostly what I did. And then yeah, getting that exercise really helped. I felt a lot better afterwards. It's been a while since I've gotten in like a decent workout. That was a pretty decent workout. Even though it was pretty slow, it was decent. Um, and then yeah, I relaxed a lot. Like I was like, it's a holiday, and I'm not completely under the weather, but like I mentioned, like last night, for some reason, my nose was a little bit runny, and I've been, dealing with a little bit of intestinal situations. So I was like, let me, not overly push myself too much. Um, I didn't want to overdo it. Um, and then, um, yeah, I didn't really, uh, I don't know if I have too much more to report about yesterday, really. Like, I thought I was going to be super busy, and then, like, my energy just didn't take me there. Um, I'm kind of strategizing on some things, so, like, before I take action on them, uh, I might be taking a little too long on it, but I think, it's part of my learning process right now. I'm trying to work on a project where I'm trying to do something differently than before. So I will talk about that. Um, that's kind of what I was wanting to talk about as far as like the financial end of things. I started recording it last night around midnight, and then I just didn't post it yet. So I'll post that next, before I start doing something else, because I forgot yesterday. I only recorded like 6 or so minutes in before I had to stop. So, all right, guys. Um, yeah, for today, I'm gonna keep working on the project and probably take this practice exam tonight. I really need to take this exam, but I'm really sitting on it. I really don't feel like it. My memory has been a little not too sharp though. Like I noticed myself, like say if I'm like finishing like a sentence, like say like yesterday, like last night, because I couldn't sleep. I was kind of watching some videos online, which is probably why I couldn't sleep. Um, and then I was watching Twilight because it's free on Netflix. So I watched it. I watched the first one. No, it's free on YouTube, not Netflix. It's free on YouTube right now. I think all the series, all the they're not called episodes, are they? I guess the whole Twilight saga is free online on YouTube right now. Um, so yeah, I found myself kind of wanting to watched some videos by one of my instructors, and then I totally couldn't remember what it was that I was gonna watch. Like that kind of happens to me a lot. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna like do this, and then right as I'm like finishing what I'm doing, I'm like, I don't even remember what it was that I was gonna do. Like, I don't know. Like, I might need to be a little more intentional with like thinking things through and not just like, you know, uh, moving on so quick. Um, it's just kind of weird. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. I've been just for like a week now. I've been like slightly under the weather, but it's like off and on, and it's not normal symptoms. It's like I said, like last night I had a runny nose. It's just like random. I don't usually get runny noses like that, just like out of the blue, but I did. And then like I had a headache yesterday morning, and I don't know when that went away, but it went away. Um, and just stuff like that where I'm just like, what is going on? Um, like I can't tell if it's like a cold or allergies or like what the heck. Um, but it's not enough of consistent symptoms for me to be like, okay, I'm getting worse. Like I'm not getting worse every day. Like some days there's no symptoms, and then other days I'm like, oh, I might be getting a cold. So I think it's probably allergies, but I don't really know. Who knows? Um, and then yeah, so I'm just gonna get done with what I need to do between now and lunch, and then just call it a day. Um, because I'm starting early and I am kind of tired, but I think I can finish everything. But all right, for now, that's just about it.